The greatest message ever told. The words of Jesus that changed the world. Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. These words, spoken by Jesus Christ, have echoed through the centuries, offering hope to the lost, peace to the troubled, and purpose to the broken. But what did he really mean? And why do his words still hold such power today? The call to the weary. As the crowds gathered, Jesus stood before them, his voice filled with authority, yet overflowing with love. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. People looked at each other, wondering, who was this man who spoke with such confidence? Could he truly offer the peace their souls longed for? But Jesus did not simply speak words. He demonstrated their power. The storm that obeyed him. One evening, Jesus and his disciples were crossing the sea when suddenly a violent storm arose. The winds howled, the waves crashed, and fear gripped their hearts. But as they panicked, Jesus lay asleep in the boat. "Lord, save us! We are perishing!" they cried. Jesus rose, stretched out his hand, and commanded, "Peace, be still." Instantly the storm calmed. The waves retreated, the wind ceased, and a deep silence filled the air. The disciples stared in awe. Who is this man, that even the wind and the sea obey him? Healing the broken. As word spread, crowds followed him everywhere. They brought their sick, their blind, their paralyzed, hoping for a miracle. And Jesus never turned them away. One day, a woman who had suffered for 12 years reached out in desperation. "If I only touch his robe, I will be healed." She touched him, and immediately she was healed. Jesus turned and said, "Daughter, your faith has made you well." The king who served, but Jesus did not come for miracles alone. He came to show a new way of life. Whoever wants to be first must be the servant of all. His message was clear. Greatness is found in humility. Power is found in love. As he washed his disciples' feet, he gave them a new commandment: love one another as I have loved you. The greatest sacrifice. And then came the moment that changed everything. He was betrayed, arrested, beaten, and nailed to a cross. Yet even in his suffering, he cried out, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." At that moment, darkness covered the land, the earth shook, and the temple curtain tore in two. And yet, death was not the end. 3 days later, the tomb was empty. Jesus had risen. His victory over death became the greatest hope mankind has ever known. His message is still alive today. Will you listen? Will you follow? Like, share, and comment to spread the message of Jesus. Come, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. These were the words of a man who walked among the broken, the sick, the forgotten. But he was no ordinary man. He spoke, and storms obeyed. He touched, and sickness vanished. He commanded, and even the dead returned to life. Yet some followed him with devotion, while others despised him. Who was he? And why did the world change forever after he came? The storm that listened. One night, Jesus and his disciples sailed across the sea. Dark clouds rolled in, waves crashed against their boat. The storm was fierce. The wind howled. The disciples panicked. "Master, we are perishing," they cried out. But Jesus was asleep. Then he stood up, stretched out his hand, and said, "Peace, be still." At that moment, the raging storm ceased. The howling wind vanished. The sea became calm as glass. The disciples stood in awe. Who is this man, that even the winds and the sea obey him? He healed the untouchable. One day, a man covered in leprosy fell at Jesus' feet. His body was weak, his skin disfigured. People avoided him in fear. "Lord, if you are willing, you can make me clean." The crowd gasped. No one touched a leper. It was against the law. But Jesus reached out his hand and touched him. "I am willing. Be clean." And instantly the man's skin was restored. The disease vanished. The man was healed. The blind could see. Another day, a man who had been blind since birth was brought to Jesus. Who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? The people asked. Jesus shook his head. Neither, but this happened so that God's power may be revealed. Then he spat on the ground, made mud with his hands, and placed it on the man's eyes. "Go, wash in the pool of Siloam." The man washed his face and opened his eyes. For the first time in his life, he saw the world. People ran in amazement. Some believed, others doubted. "Is this not the blind beggar? How can he see?" But the man declared, "I was blind, but now I see." He raised the dead. A man named Lazarus had been dead for 4 days. His family wept bitterly. The tomb was sealed. But Jesus stood before the grave and said, "Take away the stone." The people protested. "Lord, he has been dead for days." But Jesus prayed and then called out with a loud voice, "Lazarus, come forth." And suddenly, footsteps were heard inside the tomb. Lazarus walked out, alive. The people screamed in shock. "He was dead. How is this possible?" And many believed in him that day, a kingdom not of this world. But Jesus did not come just to perform miracles. He came to offer life itself. "Whoever believes in me, even though he dies, will live. I am the way, the truth, and the life." Some followed him with joy. Others rejected him with hatred. But his message could not be stopped. Even after he was crucified, his tomb was empty. He had risen. His words remain today. His power has never faded. Who do you say that he is? Like, share, and spread this powerful message.